Hey guys, before we get into it here, I just want to let you know what happened. So, I recorded episode 2 and something with the video, I guess I just wasn't paying attention to it. The audio came through, but the video did not. So, if you remember in the first episode, if you happen to watch it, we ended off after playing our home opener. And we were 1-4 on the season. So in this episode, you're going to notice we're all the way up at the trade deadline, and our record is good enough for a wild card spot right now. So just to get you caught up on some of the more major things that have happened, Korchinski is up to an 85 overall. Vlasic has developed up to an 83 overall. We traded away Alec Martinez in return for 22-year-old defenseman Scanlon from the New York Rangers. And we are at the trade deadline. And that's pretty much it. That's all you need to get caught up on. But, yeah, just wanted to give you guys a heads up in case any of you did watch the first episode and are wondering why we went from playing the home opener to being at the trade deadline. So this was supposed to be episode 3, but it is going to be episode 2. All right. Hey guys, welcome back to our Chicago Blackhawks franchise. We're coming into the trade deadline here, 34, 26, and 3. We are in that first wild card spot. Seattle has the second wild card spot with 66 points. We have a decent lead over the Jets, Sharks, and Kings, as well as Utah that we just lost to 3-1. But before we get into the trade deadline, there are some players I do want to target, right? So if we're going to be a playoff team, I do want to build up our middle six for sure. Because if you look... Oh, right, I have to go into edit lines. I can't just view my own lines. But we have Patrick Maroon at 79 sitting on our third line left wing. And I would like to just bolster our second and third line, as well as potentially finding someone for the first line to play alongside Connor Bedard. And one of those players that I have my eye on is Nikolai Ehlers. Now, the Jets are 1 point out of a wild card spot. But they're not doing great, and I think it would make sense to trade prospects and draft picks to them in exchange for Ehlers. They're not a strong team in terms of their record, and they would still have Kyle Connor at 28 years old. They have Perfetti, and they have Morgan Barron. They're still not going to be out of their window without Nikolai Ehlers, except maybe for Hellebuck. But they're not a strong team right now. They don't look like a contender. I'm thinking it is possible that we could go ahead and get Nikolai Ehlers for that first line. But if not, we could look elsewhere, right? There are other teams that we could potentially get somebody for our first line for. And you got to remember, too, our first line, aside from Connor Bedard, is not very strong. I mean, we're talking about 82, 80 to 84 overall players. So even, getting an 84, 85 overall player can help with that first line. And I think that's important to think about when you're looking at teams like Hagel is a second line player on the Tampa Bay Lightning. But for us, he'd be a certified first line left winger. So that's our plan for the trade deadline. Is the for sure thing we got to make sure we do in the trade deadline is bolster our middle six, our second and third lines. We definitely have to bolster those, even if it's just one player we get. And then also, optional, look for somebody for that first line to play alongside Connor Bedard. Probably just going to be looking to trade with teams that don't look like they're in a playoff spot. Konechny would be an interesting one if we could trade him. A lot of players are on no movement and no trade clauses, so we'll see what we can get, what we can look for. But we're going to go ahead and get started in the trade deadline. My original plan was obviously just sell the team, essentially, and completely rebuild. But our young players are developing very well, and we're looking like we could make the playoffs. So Let's go skim through the top 10 here and just through available players. We don't need any defensemen, I don't think. We're pretty much going to be looking, like I said, for that middle six forward and potentially a top line guy as well. 6.5 mil. Let's see, I don't really know how I feel about that cap hit. Don't need any defensemen. Already getting started here. Trade alert, Colorado Avalanche. Logan O'Connor, 2025 round 4, and Foudy to the Calgary Flames in exchange for Tyson Barrie and Dewar. Pretty good trade for the Avalanche, even in this universe, making some big time trades, making some good trades. All right, let's go out on the search. Let's see teams that aren't really going to make the playoffs. Start out with Anaheim. Eligible for trade, obviously. We don't want to be trying to trade for guys we can't trade for. Let's see, left side, just something to upgrade our middle six here. On the right side, Troy Terry, 86 overall. That'd be a good guy to put on the top line, potentially. How old is he? 27? That's, I mean, that could be something for sure. Vetrano, even, they're interested in getting rid of Vetrano, which I think is pretty interesting. I think he could fit 84 overall. That'd definitely be an upgrade. Penguins are trading Pettersson and Puljujarvi to the Toronto Maple Leafs in exchange for Ethan Cowan, and Minton. All right, I think we are going to look to trade for Troy Terry. Now, 27 years old, still has the elite potential, right? I don't want to be giving them nothing in return. So, we are going to give them Colton Dock. I do want to get rid of Patrick Maroon in this deal, though. I'm not going to lie to you. Winnipeg Jets are making a move. Trade a round 1, Lucius and Salmonson to the Washington Capitals in exchange for Chychrun, Van Riemsdyk, and Jacob Vrana, and Mickelrath. Okay, so I don't think we're going to be getting Ehlers, because it looks like they're going to go ahead and try to push for the playoffs here, which means we got to strengthen our roster for sure. So Troy Terry, definitely, I think, is someone we're going to go after. So we're going to get rid of Toronto Maple Leafs round 1, Dallas Stars round 1, as well as Colton Dock and Patrick Maroon in exchange for Troy Terry. I don't know if you think that's too much. Provorov, Giordano to Edmonton in exchange for Henrique, a round 2, Day, and Sundin. Okay. I don't know if you think this is too much. I just don't want to fleece him. Look, Troy Terry has elite potential. He's on long term. $7 million isn't that terrible of a cap hit, especially when you consider this guy is going to be playing top line minutes for us. He's a sniper, which may contradict with Connor Bedard, I think, but we'll see. 17 goals, 31 assists. He's getting assists, so he passes the puck, and he's a +7 at 27 years old with superstar abilities. I just don't want to. I want to make sure I'm not underpaying the Anaheim Ducks here. You see the Sharks go after, and they get Lambos. Once again, solidifying their 2030 campaign. But I think this is good. Doc, Maroon, Maple Leafs, first round pick from this year. I don't want JT Compher, Detroit. I don't want. See, like, that's perfect actually though. 5.1 million for Compher or 7 million for Troy Terry. I'm taking 7 million for Troy Terry all day. So a round 2 from this year, a round 1 from this year. Colton Dock, young top 9 forward, and Patrick Maroon in exchange for Troy Terry, who has 6 years left on his deal. Will it go through? Trade accepted. All right, Troy Terry, welcome to the Chicago Blackhawks. All right, so that gives us that first line player we're looking for. And now I do still want to look to add, possibly if we can, a round 2 from this year, round 2 from next year. See what teams aren't really looking like they're going to make the playoffs. Columbus. See if we can get something. Voronkov. Okay. Detroit. What do you got for me on the left side here? Rasmussen. Hanas, Kilpinen, Mazur. Casper, Vlano, Compher, Kopp, Berggren, Soderblom, Danielson. Bergeron could be an interesting piece, right? What are the Red Wings at right now? 27, 33, and 3. They're not going to make the playoffs. And they are trying to unload their older players, but I don't want either of these contracts. I definitely don't want Copp's contract, and I definitely don't want Comfort's contract. Though Copp in this universe is not having that bad of a year. Crevier, round 4, round 3 for round 2 and a round 3. I will actually pass on that, Dallas. Thank you. Let's see what other teams. LA, Montreal. They might have something interesting here. Heineman, 78 overall, though. Yes, yeah. I want a guy who can come in and play second or third line. Another trade. Speaking of Montreal, Evans. I'm okay on Evans, I think. Nashville, in our division. I don't know about giving a team in our division draft picks, but let's see what they got here. See if they got anything interesting. Smith, 84 overall, top 6. 29 years of age. It's not bad. Cole Smith, that could be an interesting one. Nyquist, they're looking to get rid of Nyquist. He's 35 now, though. I don't think that necessarily makes us a Cup favorite. Like, we're not gonna. I still don't think, even with the additions we're gonna make, that we become like a Cup contending team. But I guess you never know. I would be more interested in taking Cole Smith just because he's 29. And we might be able to do something more with him. So I'm gonna go ahead and change this around. Round 2 for Cole Smith. He's an 84 overall. They get a round 2 for this year, and they're not going anywhere. So this gets rid of a little bit of cap for them. It's only $1 million, and they get a round 2 for it. And if you look at his numbers right now, he's a -16. He's got 19 points. He's not doing anything crazy for them, and I think this does still help us out for our second and third line. So we're gonna go ahead, propose trade. It's gonna get rejected. Okay, so they want a little bit more. Not really too interested in giving up that much. I'll give you the New York Rangers round 4. And that's going to go through. Okay. We made our moves. The only other thing I would even consider is trading for a goaltender. Just because we got Troy Terry. We added Smith, who's an 84 overall. You look at our goaltending right now. Peter Mrazek, 906. And Soderblom with a 909. Ryan O'Reilly just got traded to the Vancouver Canucks. Wow. I mean, it's not bad numbers, right? But if we could trade Mrazek, a second round pick. Just see what goalies we got, right? Like, what are Gibson's numbers, for example? 907, really not any better. No. Detroit goaltenders. Talbot. Who's got a 904. Yeah, see what I mean? Like, I don't think any team is going to give up, like, a elite goaltender, and most of the goalies look like they're going to have around the same save percentage as Mrazek. So it looks like we'll probably just run with Mrazek. Oof, wait a minute. 915 save percentage with 3 shutouts. Sam Montembeault. What's his age? 28. 28 years old. Primo's injured, so they're rocking Hughes and Montembeault right now. But see, what's Montreal area? 27, 27, and 8. can see them wanting to move on. What are Primo's stats, right? He's also got a 915. He's only played 9 games though. Yeah, see, this is what I'm saying. This is their starting goaltender, and he's 28 years old. It just wouldn't make sense for them to get rid of him right now. Like, he's still kind of their. That's their guy right now. Carey Price still got that rocking that elite potential, huh? Nashville. Again. What are Sarvis's number? He's only got a 902. Granted, Nashville right now is really bad, but I just can't really see them getting rid of him. But it would be interesting. Oh man, Sorokin? He's not even eligible for trade. No way. Philly doesn't. 901. Yeah, see, like, our goaltending isn't really as bad as I was making it out to be, I don't think. So, no trades with our rivals. I said it already. I can't go after Binnington. I can't do it. That's them and the Sharks are in this universe are going to be our rivals. Winnipeg Jets, Bauer to Nashville in exchange for Nyquist. So Nashville is unloading right now. So Washington is interested in both Mrazek and the draft pick. Why did they get rid of Thompson? Did they get rid of Thompson? They did. Why? 33, 23, and 7, and they're getting rid of their starting goaltender? Are they giving up on the season? Two different stories here. Winnipeg trying to buy in to making the playoffs, and Washington looking like they're kind of just giving up on the year. Giving up on Ovi. Yeah, I don't see any goaltenders right now. Yeah, 900. Levi. Oh, someone's offering me a trade. Nope, we're not trading with San Jose. They're a rival in this year. We're competing with them to build a dynasty. They're trying to build a dynasty. We're also trying to build a dynasty. Yeah, I don't. Maybe Carolina? Like, who would they. Freddie Anderson? Because they have Kochetkov, right? 909 with 3 shutouts. 35. For Mrazek. And a second round pick. Is that even worth it? It's not that much better of a save percentage. They're the same age. But he's got that dialed in X factor. That might help us with I don't know if that really affects the simulation at all. It might though. It very well could. Let's see. I mean, helps us with salary too. Takes about $1 million off. St. Louis making a trade. Trade Joseph to Vegas in exchange for Brisson in a round 3. They don't need Anderson. They have Kochetkov. For them, it makes sense, right? It does. Like, I know this says he's an 88 overall. This is their quote-unquote starter. He's played 47 games. But they have Kochetkov, who is a 927 in 18 games. And he's only lost 4 games. Right? So then Kochetkov becomes your starter, and you still have a solid goaltender as backup. I think for Carolina, it does make sense. But does it make sense for us to trade away a second-round pick as well for a goalie of the same age with a slightly higher save percentage? That's what I'm questioning right now. I think it makes sense. Maybe you guys disagree. I think it makes sense for Carolina. I don't know if it makes sense for us to do this, though. But the overall might help us get into the playoffs. I'm going to go for it. see if they accept it. It's their starting goaltender, but they're just going to then rock with Kochetkov and Mrazek, and I think that's a really strong duo, and we get Freddie Anderson to mentor Soderblom and Comesso. I'm going to go ahead and try to pull the trigger on this trade. Will it go through? Trade rejected. Yeah, see, and I just don't think I'm that comfortable giving up really too much more. That would be it. This would be it. This would be as far as I would go for Freddie Anderson. Well, let's see if it goes through. If it doesn't, we're going to rock with Mrazek for the rest of the season. Trade accepted. Okay, Freddie Anderson coming to Chicago. That might have been a little bit of an overpay. Like I said, he's the same age as Mrazek, slightly higher save percentage, but with EA Sports, in this universe right now, like that overall might help us go from being a first round exit to maybe going and trying to compete for a cup. Don't want comfort. We've made our moves. We got our middle six. We got a starting goaltender, and we got a first line for it. We've achieved everything we wanted to right before the end of the trade deadline too. Perfect. So that's going to do it for not only the trade deadline, but that is going to do it for this episode. Next thing to do is just to sim to the end of the season. But we did it. That's our trade deadline. Let's go ahead and, before we get out of here, take a look at our new players here. Troy Terry with Bedard and Bertuzzi. What happens if we put Teravainen? That does kind of ruin it a little bit. We got Smith down here. He could play on the second line. Oh, that's Craig Smith. Where's the other Smith? There's Cole Smith. See, look at what this does. Joey Anderson. Oh, I want Reichel in. Who else could we... Mikheyev, what have you done? 13 and 19. Taylor Hall, 15 and 26. Foligno's our captain. He's done the least, though. Dickinson, 11 and 21. Don't want to get rid of Kurashev. I do want Kurashev to play. Up a little bit more. So we could, let's see, 15 and 26 versus 9 and 10. See, that might have been a bad trade, right? But, God, Nick Foligno is our captain. You can't just take him out of the lineup right like that, right? I mean, it ain't right. It ain't right. So Smith might just end up being a guy we look to filter in for injuries, but still I'm okay with that. I am very okay with that. And then we still got Vlasic, Korchinski. Made no changes to the defense. I think our defense is okay. And then, of course, Freddie Anderson, 88 overall elite with Soderblom under his wing. All right, so that's going to do it. Let me know what you guys think of the trades we made. Did we overpay for anybody? Do you think we fleeced anybody? And do you think these were overall good moves in the position our team is in that first wildcard spot? All right. That's going to have to do it for this episode, and I'll see you guys next time.